CBS Sports Radio.
Sin City to Mecca to Hub, beautiful downtown, lost wages, baby, for rowing a bench. 7 o'clock every night right here on the new CBS Sports Radio 1140.
I love that guy. You listen to him much on CBS Sports Radio, that Pharrell. I mean, it sounds a little like Oscar the Grouch, but I mean, he has a great show.
Kind of like us after a couple cigs on the curb.
Whoa, slow down. I don't do that. All right, let's get, you know what? Let's talk about a little pace of play. We got a great, fast-paced pace of play. Let's get right into it.
Now, it's pace of play.
Come on, Glenn! Come on! Get your head in the damn game!
Putting the boys on the clock.
I guess we're playing for keeps now.
The fuck?
All right, speaking of SIGs,
Kirby's.
Yeah, we would be remiss if we didn't mention one of our favorite smokers, Richie Sweeney, and his new car. Doing a little work at TPC Summerlin, behind the scenes, no less.
He is the foundation of the club, and is happy to pick up a half pack of smokes at any time.
That's right, our PMGM. All right, let's get right into it. John Daly withdrew yesterday from the Greenbrier Classic, citing an elbow injury that he says will require surgery and a 4-month rehab. Daly's now been in 11 events this year, has made 4 cuts, and earned $40,000. I guess the question is Daly for a long time, he was nothing, and he wins the PGA, and then he kind of goes downhill, then he wins the British Open. Does he have a place in golf? Is he somebody that we should really care about still? Is his personality enough? And obviously his game. Do we need to care about him anymore?
To be honest with you, I don't even think he's a draw anymore. I think it's more of a sideshow now with the pants and everything, and the idea of what John Daly used to be. And look, maybe he hangs it up for a couple years and then gets himself healthy and tries for the Senior Tour or the Champions Tour. But right now it just seems like every time he goes out there and tries to do something, it's a train wreck. See,
and I guess the only place where I disagree with you is I do think he's still a draw because of that train wreck opportunity. He played in our, was it last year? Yeah, he played in our event last year.
Mm-hmm.
And he had he made an 8 or a 10 or something on hole number 3, and it had people talking about it. People were following him, and I think just for that train wreck possibility. Whereas I think, to your point though, I think it's changed to where he used to be a draw because he was going to ride that roller coaster, and he may shoot 75, he may shoot 64, and be in the tournament and be up there on the leaderboard. Now, I think everybody's just waiting for how bad it's going to be, or when the withdrawal is going to come, or when the 10 is going to come. And so, to your point, I don't think people. It's worth giving him an exemption, even though he can draw some participation and some spectators. I don't think the exemption.
I just don't think the win factor's not there anymore.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Your girl Inbee Park won last week's U.S. Women's Open, her 3rd straight major title. The win took her to over $2 million in earnings for the year, and over $1 million more than second place on the earnings list on the LPGA. With the U.S. Open win, the Super Slam is still alive, giving her the opportunity to win all 5 majors on the LPGA Tour in 1 year. And yes, I said 5 majors. Is Inbee Park getting the credit in the press that she deserves right now?
Yes. And the reason I say yes is because I've heard of it. And I think a lot of people have heard of it. Let's put it this way: after she'd won 2, which if it was a male major, a male that had won 2 majors out of 4, it would be the lead.
Yeah.
After she had won 2, I didn't know that she had won 2, unfortunately. And so now after she's won 3, I've heard of it. I didn't watch any of the U.S. Open. But to your point, I think it could still grow. She's $1 million ahead of second place. I mean, that's crazy on the LPGA Tour. And she's absolutely dominating. And to think that she has local ties here in Las Vegas, I think is unbelievable. And I think it is that it can still grow, but I think she's getting the recognition that she deserves. It is the LPGA, and they just don't have at near as much cachet in the U.S. As any other sport.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you, and I think she's getting her fair share of the press. I think the biggest winner in all this is the LPGA Tour itself.
No question.
They're talking about the LPGA again, and hopefully that'll draw up some deeper interest into some of the U.S. players. And let's be honest, since Annika, we really haven't had a U.S. player with staying power up there, which is, I think, kind of why that tour suffers as well. But she's playing great. The dominance, you have to recognize it.
Yeah. What do you think about this 5 major thing?
I don't buy. I guess I'm just so used to the 4 that I don't know where the fifth one is.
Was it just created? I think, as I understand it, I think it was just created that Avion Masters or whatever
was going to be tossed into the majors.
They said, hey, we'll throw a bunch of money if you make it a major.
Yeah, well, they got to do what they got to do, I guess.
All right, so the Grand Slam for the LPGA is 4. The Super Slam is 5. Am I getting my terminology correct?
I think we were enlightened to that yesterday by an LPGA Tour fan, yes.
All right. Okay, Tom Watson, the captain of our upcoming Ryder Cup team for the U.S. Wednesday, said he's naming his close friend and two-time U.S. Open champion Andy North as his vice captain for the 2014 Ryder Cup. Is this a good decision? Do you feel like this is just hey, you're a friend of mine, come along for the ride, or do you think this is a tactical pick that's going to have positive results?
I'm a little bit on the fence with this one. I think if you were the Ryder Cup captain, I would be expecting a phone call, to have me jump on board and make some decisions for you. But at the same time, Andy North is he's involved with ESPN. He has to be close to the game. He knows the players for that job. I think he probably is going to have his finger on the pulse of the tour and know how to make some decisions. My only concern is, are we just being too friendly? We need to start winning these things and not just, worry about feelings. Yeah. So, that's my only concern with it.
Well, I think if there's anybody that's not going to be friendly, it's going to be Tom Watson. Tom Watson, especially on foreign soil, has had some success. He's actually going to have some fans over there, whereas in the past, if we send somebody that's only a U.S. Open champion and really noted as a U.S. player, would really get aroused from the fans in a negative way. I think this is a positive choice. I think, to your point, I think you want to pick people that you're comfortable with, you're going to spend a lot of time with. But there's nobody that's going to watch more golf and be better at picking these players than Andy North, with his job with ESPN as an analyst and watching golf all the time. So to your point, with his pulse of the players, knowing how people are playing, who's going to get along with each other, knowing the backdoor stuff. I think he's going to be a positive pick.
And I like the announcement now, so that there's plenty of time to get this thing going.
Yeah.
The PGA Tour announced Monday that it will follow the new rule that bans the anchored putting stroke used by 4 of the last 6 major champions on tour. This is to go in effect January 1st, 2016. It was originally thought that the Tour may fight this ban in order to support its players, but the Tour is the last major golf organization to decide that they are going to, in essence, go with the rule. Do you agree with their stance, or do you feel they should have adopted a local rule to maybe protect some of these players?
I like the decision to make sure that we have one set of rules. But it's interesting that it was made now. I mean, we're still in 2013. This doesn't go into effect until January of 2016. I thought that there was going to be a lot more wait until we got a little bit more quantifiable evidence that this either helped or hurt. And so to make this decision now, I guess it was in consideration of the Keegan Bradleys and Webb Simpsons of the world to give them an opportunity to practice.
Yeah.
The PGA of America came out and really partnered with the tour. Both of those golf organizations were against it, but they came out and basically did the exact same thing. I think the point to be made here, though, is both organizations are also strongly suggesting that the USGA take the rule for amateurs and extend it out similar to the wedges to 2024. To really give the opportunity for people that this belly putter or anchored putting system is helping them enjoy the game and making the game easier and all those types of things. Everybody knows that golfers are declining, Golf courses are closing. The game is in trouble if we don't continue to get more people to play. And this being a way that makes the game easier, I think we've got to find a way to allow amateurs to use this in local tournaments and all those types of things just to make it easier.
Yeah, I agree. And somebody's screaming in the background. But anyways. It's
about the studio.
We'll go on to the next one. I think you touched on everything I wanted to say.
All right. Hey, this is to liven it up a little bit. Saints head coach Sean Payton. If anybody has watched the telecast, give me another scream. Why not? Yeah. All right, don't do it. Oh. Sean Payton moonlighting this week. He's at the Greenbrier, and he's actually caddying for Ryan Palmer. And I think this is a pretty cool question. If you were on tour and you gave your caddy a break for a week, what celebrity would you choose to caddy for you?
It's a tough one for me. I'd probably throw, and you're going to call me a homer again, but LaDainian Tomlinson on the bag.
Oh, my goodness.
Because in between shots, I want to be talking about football or something else. I don't want to be thinking about golf any more than I have to. So I don't need somebody out there that's trying to give me a coach's perspective on how to play the hole or anything like that. Not saying that's what Sean Payton's doing, but I'd want somebody that I could just kind of shoot the breeze with in between shots.
Well, who better to shoot the breeze? And I've got a couple here, but who better to shoot the breeze with? I would love to have Chevy Chase or Jack Nicholson out there carrying my bag for me. I mean, if I complain and somebody can come back with "you can't handle the truth" type of feedback to really put me in my place, I mean, what better person to keep you grounded than somebody like that who can tell jokes and can also intimidate you at his age.
And I could see Chevy making it 18 holes.
I'm not sure.
I don't think Jack could make it.
Champions Tour. He could ride in the cart.
That'll go for big.
All right, we're going to head into break. We'll be back with about 5 minutes of the show. 19th Hole Weekend Editions, brought to you by the Heritage Collection of Fine Homes at the Rim Club. Visit rimpremierproperties.com for more info. We'll be right back with more 19th Hole Weekend Edition right here on CBS Sports Radio 1140.
With so much drama in the LBC, it's kinda hard being Snoop D-O double G. But I somehow, some way, keep coming up with funky ass hits like every single day. May I kick a little something for the G's and make a few ends as I breeze through.